All right, everyone, welcome back to another video. Last time we left off, we were here as the brilliant Allied raid on Norway. But we are now to here. The 4th of March, 1941. German oil plant destroyed. Here, the oil storage wells at Stralsund. Hold on. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. Stralsund are seen ablaze after they have been fired by the landing party. The British troops in the foreground are guarding the wells while their comrades round up the Kisslings and German personnel. So here we see, as I say, those are all high on fire. We see the Brits here, as I said, guarding their allies as they bring prisoners up. Right, let me just make sure. Okay, 389. 390s. Raiders capture Kisslings and leave oil tanks ablaze. March 4th, 1941. Results of the Luften raid. The raid on Luftens took the Germans completely by surprise. The attackers met with practically no opposition and suffered no casualties, though a few German sailors were killed. My bad. Above, German merchant seamen and air-ground staff and Norwegian Kisslings have been transferred blindfolded from one ship to another on the way to Britain. Below, one of the landing craft leaving after the raid, loaded with troops and recruits for the Free Norwegian Forces. Top right, British troops return to their ship, leaving smoking oil tanks behind. Below, dense clouds of smoke rising from the burning oil tanks. So here we see those German prisoners being transferred from one ship to another, like they said. You know, you gotta have a lot of faith in these people because there's just this tiny little bridge. But yeah, you're going up and you're like, oh, this does not feel right. Especially if you're blindfolded. If you've ever been blindfolded and walked upstairs, that's very, very weird feeling. We see the British troops here returning to their ships, getting on these to return to the main ships. You see them leaving as they wave in goodbye as the burning wrecks in the background. Goodbye, everybody. Glad to see ya. And then here we see the burning oil tanks and this dense cloud of black smoke rising from them. America passes the Leaseland Bill. March 9th to 11th, 1941. More American aid. On January 10th, President Roosevelt introduced in Congress a Lend-Lease bill providing for authority. Oh boy, 1 second. I will get this to. It does not want to. There you go. Providing for authority to be given to the United States to manufacturing defense articles of all kind and to sell, lease, lend, or otherwise dispose of them to allied governments. After hot debate in Congress for the bill, the bill became law on March 11th. Above, Wendell Willkie urging passage of the bill before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Below, Mr. Roosevelt signing the bill at the White House as cameras grind. So here we see Wendell Willkie urging them, saying, hey, we need to do this. And this is another example. Whenever they say America was neutral before this, no, they weren't. We were helping the Allies. We were just manufacturing. If we were manufacturing for both sides, then yeah, I would say we were neutral. But we weren't neutral here. We were helping the Allies, which is fine. The Allies were, you could argue, the good guys in this. But still, do not let the saying of, oh, America was neutral before. That's not true. And here we see President Roosevelt signing in the bill, which he really wanted, obviously. Britain's girl soldiers defend their homeland. March 1941. The ATS on the job. The Auxiliary Territorial Service, formed some months prior to the war, was now performing duties of the first importance in connection with home defense, especially in anti-aircraft operations. Above, ATS girls at a training post for anti-aircraft gunners. While the gunners fire at a target, the girl on the left photograph the shell bursts with a kind theodolite. I don't know what the heck that is. If anyone knows what that is, let me know in the comments. I've never heard of that. While those at the table map the hits. Below, women in battle dress rush to action stations at an AA post where they operate predictors. So here we see them just making sure they watch, seeing what's going on, things like that. Seeing where they hit, basically telling them, hey, you were this close, or hey, you were this close, or that kind of stuff. And then here we see them rushing to the job in their full battle dress. Clydeside and Merseyside, heavily bombed by the Luftwaffe. March 12th to 14th, 1941. No German bombers over the provinces. The main attack of the Luftwaffe was now being directed against the large industrial cities of the provinces, especially the ports and coastal towns. Heavy raids on Merseyside took place on March 12th and 13th. The damage being mainly confined to private houses, schools, a hospital, and industrial premises were also hit. The first heavy attack on Clydeside came on March 13th and was resumed on the following night. Blocks or flats and tenement houses being the chief sufferers. 13 enemy bombers, recorded number so far, were destroyed on the night of March 13th. Left bombed out Clydesiders take their rescued belongings to temporary shelters. Right above, homeless women and children in Liverpool Street after a night raid. Below, Merseyside, let's go with that. Rescue workers searching the wreckage for victims. So here we see on the left here, it's talking about those people collecting their destroyed things. Yeah, they're rescuing their belongings, taking them to a temporary shelter so that they don't lose their belongings. Here we see a homeless women and children in Liverpool Street after the night raid. You know, they may be bombed out, but you can see everyone here. They're smiling. They're saying, yeah, screw you, Germany. And here we see these workers looking for victims. Probably a very rewarding job in this sense, because you're actually being able to help people and things like that. You hope that you don't find anyone that may be injured beyond saving or anything like that, but I'm sure when they did find someone and they weren't really all that banged up, they were probably saying, come on, we got you. U.S. warships visit Australia and New Zealand, March 20th, 1941. Also, as you can see, 41 has been gone. U.S. squadron at Sydney. In March, a U.S. naval squadron comprising 2 cruisers and 5 destroyers paid a visit to Australia and New Zealand. It was commanded by Admiral Newton, who, at a dinner given by the Commonwealth government to himself and his officers, declared that the U.S. was behind Britain and her dominions in their great fight for freedom. American sailors and Marines who marched through Sydney, followed by detachments of militia and the Royal Australian Air Force received tremendous welcome from the people of the city. The previous visit by U.S. warships to Australian waters had been made in June 1926. The picture above shows launches escorting the American warships down Sydney Harbor. Less than 9 months later, American forces were to be stationed in Australia under General MacArthur. Look at all those ships. I don't think we realize, most of us today would not see that many ships. We maybe see them in port or things like that, but it's just so many. Some large, some small. And yeah, obviously at this time they would have been welcomed. They'd have been like, hey, welcome. Are you guys going to help? And not yet, but eventually we would. Once again, showing we weren't really that neutral. We picked a side. It's just we weren't actively fighting. Well, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. Tell me what I can improve on. I always appreciate the feedback. And as always, subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Thank you.